what is occurring at Flinders University. You would have heard, no doubt, that there's a proposal to close down Italian, only Italian of the languages there. And I mean, there are several issues, I think. There's the education, as you said, the broadness, but even the connection between industry and knowledge industry and universities. Have you come to a view around that, or how appropriate or inappropriate that might be?
Yeah, no, look, I studied Italian at Flinders University in 1985, and I still remember a little, posso parlare un poco italiano. Posso parlare un poco italiano. Sorry, I got nervous speaking it in front of an Italian. So I have had a conversation with the Vice-Chancellor of Flinders University and discussed with him what the future of Italian is. He, I believe, today is meeting with the Honorary Consul from Italy, and it will be useful to understand whether there's some kind of negotiation that they can have over the resourcing of Italian. But I would be so sorry to see that go. There are students, there's not as many students, I think, as when I was there many years ago, but there are students still from Adelaide University who study at Flinders, as well as Flinders students, and it would be a very sad day. But it is in the context of the lack of funding for universities that the federal government has decided to inflict on them. They decided that they would need to teach a whole lot more students without any more money, and we are seeing the repercussions of that now.
Yes, there has been some numbers, I think, bandied, but one of the problems there is that they've changed some of the coding, so it's actually difficult to find who's doing a particular language rather than another just from their stats. But the languages, I understand that a lot of students are taking, say, Italian or other languages in connection with other degrees, like your son, for example. Yes. And we have an important influx of advanced manufacturing firms into South Australia, and we're trying to build the space sector, which is very international. And yeah, just the narrowing of the options and the thinking process is not conducive to us being open to the international business world. That's quite right. Apart from the recent problems we're having with France and the EU.
Yes. So it's consistent with a general decline in languages at schools as well, which is very sad to see. So back when I was at school, I studied French and German all the way through school, and then I went off to university and studied French all the way through and a little bit of Italian. And it was normal to want to understand how other cultures think and express themselves through language. And it seems that is something that Australian students don't prioritise as much. And then they don't study as much at uni, and then they're not qualified when they do a teaching degree to teach a language. And so we see this spiralling down. And that's one of the things that really troubles me. Yes, it is possible to get by speaking English in this world. It is the dominant language, but it's not the only language. And it's a tragedy if we think that it's okay to make everyone else speak our language. It's disrespectful, but it also cuts off the capacity to understand that there are genuinely different approaches to thinking about how the world works, and that's so often captured in language. There's also the relationship between, so I get a genuine thrill when I see a word from Italian that I recognise from French that we've got a little shadow of in English. It really excites me. When I'm watching a Danish TV show, you know, those criminal shows that they have, and I can hear the German that I learnt at school. And I love that, and it's thrilling to me that we have such diversity and yet connections. And so I'm heartbroken. Many years ago, Adelaide Uni got rid of Vietnamese. My brother studied Vietnamese there, went off to Hanoi University for 6 months to study. Fantastic opportunity, gone now. So this is not, what's happening in Italian at Flinders is not a one-off, but it is a very sad, part of a sad trend. And I think, as I say, particularly what's happened most recently is the cutbacks from the federal government and a lack of prioritising.
And it's not directly your portfolio anymore, but I understand the Department of Education has been creating the various IB programs and emphasising languages in the high schools. So
Yes, we introduced a languages strategy back when I was minister, partly because I'm so obsessed with languages. And the new minister, John Gardner, I'm very grateful, kept that going, was absolutely equally invested in it. But it takes a while to turn around, and part of that is having the teachers who speak the languages.
How are you going to get
If
them?
they're not studying it at uni, they won't be teaching it. So that's the lag that really worries me.
Yes, and at the same time, then these students that go through high school, if they wanted to study at university, then they're going to be having reduced options.